Mary Kay Cabot, and she's a longtime Cleveland beat writer for the Cleveland Browns, and she's been entrenched in that city for a while. She was on with a morning show talking about Brandon Aiyuk and a possible fit with the Cleveland Browns. Let's take a listen to what she said, and then we'll talk more about it. But the big issue right now is whether sentiment among 49er fans is starting to change. Take a listen.
Yeah, I think they would. I think that a young receiver like that in this system, a receiver-friendly system, with a quarterback like Deshaun Watson who's going to get him the ball early and often, I think he would flourish here. He might get even more targets because I think San Francisco might have even a few more weapons than the Browns do and utilize them a little bit differently. But I'm not saying that this is going to happen. Yeah. I'm just saying that it actually is somewhat of a possibility now, where it didn't seem possible in the beginning because no one could really imagine the 49ers parting with him. Why would you let go of your number one receiver in the prime of his career? It really kind of comes down to a financial decision. If he's going to hold out, if he's going to be a distraction in this high-stakes year for the 49ers, maybe it's better for them to move forward, bring in a receiver, an elite receiver like Amari. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't miss a beat or a step this season.
All right, so that's the way it feels to me. That just everything seems to be building a little bit more and more and more, where 2 months ago it's hard to see happening. A month ago, you're still skeptical. And now it does seem like, I don't know if it's more likely to happen, but I think most people think it might happen more so now than in the past. How could you not?
Yeah, and it boils down to me, what is Aiyuk? What will make him happy? And obviously money will make him happy. But Cleveland, a good team, Steiny, a playoff team, I think, in the AFC. But the Niners were just in the Super Bowl in overtime. So If I'm Aiyuk, I mean, what's more important to you? Going somewhere where you could put up numbers and maybe not get back to the Super Bowl, or not take a pay cut, meet the team halfway or more than halfway, obviously, and play big-time football? I just don't know, but I will say this. Aiyuk, just from an individual standpoint, he wasn't solo, did not just obliterate and put up video game numbers in the playoffs in regard to his production as far as catches, touchdowns, and yards. We still don't have the answer as to why, but my goodness, Donnie, it's the Kuminga thing. You put him in Detroit, he'll put up 27. Yeah, but is that a 27 where he's going to be playing big-time basketball? I think not. So we'll see what's going on. But every day, including today and tomorrow, this is not fixed. I start to believe this guy really may be on his way out of town.
Yeah, 888-957-9570 is the number. If you're just joining us, Matt Mayoko, NBC Sports Bay Area, is plugged in to the Niners as any writer in the Bay. He's been doing it for 20-plus years, is reporting that the Niners are about as close to dealing Brandon Aiyuk as they've been all summer long, and I believe it. Now, I believe that they're closer to trading him now than they were 3 months ago. The question is there still a lot of room before they end up trading Brandon Aiyuk? So let me ask you this, because I saw it online, and I just kind of want to know what people were thinking about it. Just the pleasantries with Brandon Aiyuk, Shanahan, and Kyle Lynch. So they're shaking hands and they're smiling.
Okay, bro hugs.
Did people think they were saying hello? We're going to get something done, or people were thinking that was their way of kind of saying, all right, no hard feelings, goodbye.
I'll go labor terms. I thought the baby was here. I thought it was congratulations. We're about to announce your new contract, son. What else could that be? Are you just feeling euphoria? And then Colin Cowherd, I don't know if you caught it, Steiny, went on his platform and said a deal with the Niners was good. It was imminent. So I was thinking, dude, you do that when you're celebrating something. But other people saw it different. But you asked me what I thought. And Steiny, I thought by the time our week concluded with Evan last Friday, a deal would be announced. And it's quiet on the set.
Yeah, 888-957-9570 is the number. Niner fans, are you more concerned at this point with Aiyuk or Trent Williams? That's the other question I want to ask 49er fans. And then just simply, are you starting to get concerned, particularly about Brandon Aiyuk, that he may not be a 49er this season? I mean, it does feel to me like if it's a fait accompli that Brandon Aiyuk's not going to be a Niner, hey, you got to, and you can get Amari Cooper for him. You just go get Amari Cooper.
Okay, but
I'm sorry. I mean, like, I know it's not that simple, but if you don't think you can sign Brandon Aiyuk, then you got to replace him with the best receiver you think is out there that you can get. And if it's Amari Cooper, it's Amari Cooper.
No doubt about it. And it's kind of funny because up until this morning, Steiny, we hadn't had a receiver's name that would be coming back.
Right.
So now it's twofold. This is not Madden. You want Amari Cooper, if you know and look yourself in the mirror, the Niners, that he's available, you want him to hit the ground running so you could get him in here as fast as possible, right?
You would think.
So it's twofold there, but man, is he going to get his wish, Brandon, if that, where he's going to get his money first? Because I think that's at the top of his priority sheet. Get the bag.
Right.
And if it's in Cleveland, it's in Cleveland, or Pittsburgh. But, man.
Now, the one thing I think, the more I think about it, is maybe Cleveland wants more than just Aiyuk. Because think about this for a minute. So Cleveland's got Amari Cooper, who's a real solid receiver, but he's a free agent at the end of the year.
Yes, sir.
So if I'm Cleveland, okay, I want Brandon Aiyuk because he's a younger, more dynamic receiver than Cooper, but I also know I'm going to pay him 28, 26, 30, and that puts Cleveland in a much tougher salary cap situation. Obviously, I don't know their particulars, but part of what a team does is calculate the guys who are coming off the cap. So if Cleveland's ready to move off of Cooper and sign Brandon Aiyuk to a long-term contract, maybe they want something else, because the Niners, think about this, the Niners are going to, parting with Aiyuk would be a tough one. But then they get a player in here who's not that much, let's say, worse than Aiyuk and pretty darn good, and you got him coming off your cap in a year, knowing you got to pay Purdy. To me, that almost seems like a great deal for the San Francisco 49ers if they're starting to become convinced they can't get it done with Aiyuk. How can they do better than that?
And you hadn't mentioned the dessert. Draft picks coming back. And reportedly a 2025 second-round pick. So, I mean, you're telling me, man, we get – some will argue, Steiny, Aiyuk is equal, or some will say Cooper went healthy. He's done more in the league than Brandon Aiyuk.
Right.
But if you're telling me he's coming back and we're getting draft capital, if I'm the Niners, that might stir up the pot to where, hey, Brandon, we love you, but we don't love you that much.
888-957-9570 is the number. Brandon Aiyuk, are you ready to move on from this issue, which would mean trading him? I mean, I'm looking at this from Cleveland's point of view. All right, they're a good team. They got a great defense. They also have give me a grade for Amari Cooper as a receiver, and give me a grade for Brandon Aiyuk as a receiver. In other words, I would say,
so forget age.
Let's say Ayuk's a B+, and Amari Cooper's a B. Would that be fair?
I guess if we go to last year, yeah, or we check the mileage on. But if we're just talking about just name recognition, Amari Cooper's he's been an A- coming out of, and Brandon Aiyuk is a B, or a B-.
Let's say hypothetically, even though Cooper's had a better career, let's say hypothetically Aiyuk is either better or more coveted because he's entering his prime. Right. So let's just give Aiyuk an A- and Amari Cooper a B.
All right.
So they're sitting there with a B receiver, pretty good receiver, proven. Do they really want to move off a sure thing? Not that Aiyuk isn't a sure thing, but they have him at cost certainty. I just don't see Cleveland moving off Cooper to get Aiyuk for the right to pay Aiyuk, among the top paid receivers in the league.
Well, he could be your Amari Cooper for the future.
He could be. But
that's why you do it. They're going, when they do this, and this was to get expedited, they're telling you, we've dubbed him
here's
the future young wideout, the next Amari Cooper.
Here's what I'm saying, though. If I'm Cleveland and the 49ers come to me with that deal, I'm going to look at it from my point of view. And I'm going to say, what? Okay, great. We get Brandon Aiyuk, but we're still going to have to pay him $30 million. You know that. We know that. Amari Cooper is a damn good receiver. You've got him at cost certainty. He's coming off your cap in a year. He's like a free agent that comes off your cap. He's coveted. All I'm saying is, if I'm Cleveland, I would want the pick.
Yeah.
I would want a pick. And that may sound crazy to 49er fans, and maybe you'd say to Cleveland at that point, hit the pike.
Because I'm not doing that for a guy that we got control over one more year.
Exactly.
So I'm not, I don't even want to move Aiyuk. I really believe the Niners don't. But if they get overwhelmed with draft capital, Steiny, that changes it to me. But as far as giving something else to go with Aiyuk, I would just, Marshawn Lynch, hell nah.